Guys, moving on to the next one, it says name the compound SNO. Now, the first thing we have to know in any time we're naming a compound is we have to figure out, is it ionic, is it covalent, or is it an acid? Okay. Now, there's one way that we can tell this. We always look at the very first element in the formula, which we have to figure out if it's a metal, is it a hydrogen, or is it a non-metal. If it's a metal, we know that it's ionic. If it's hydrogen, we know that it's an acid. And if it's a non-metal, we know that it's going to be covalent. Okay, so we look at 10. 10 is to the left of the stair step, so I know that Sn is a metal. So I know that this is going to be an ionic compound. Okay, so we have SNO. Now, it's very simple when we name an ionic compound. The very first part is just going to be 10. Okay, so we can start off and we see that, yep, all of them have 10, so all of these choices are right. Okay, the next thing we have to look at, is that metal a D block metal? Is it in group 3 through 12? Now, we're going to treat this, even though 10 is not in the D block, we're going to treat it as a D block metal. Okay, you won't get any of these exceptions on your test, you would just get D block metals. Okay, but we're going to pretend, just for example's sake, that 10 is a D block metal. Okay, so we have 10 and oxygen would be oxide. Now the trick here is, since 10 is a D block metal, it has to have a Roman numeral. Okay, anytime you have a D block metal, it has to be a Roman numeral. So you can automatically just look at our answers, and that's not right, that's not right, and that's not right, because it doesn't have a Roman numeral. Now the Roman numeral, remember, it only goes for D block metals. So we have two options. We have 10-2 oxide or 10-1 oxide. Now to tell this, we're going to do our right triangle rule. Okay, now remember, on our right triangle rule, the first thing we do is we find the oxidation number of oxygen, and all we care about is the number. Well, oxygen is in group 16, so it has a -2 oxidation number. Okay, and we compare that to the subscript of 10, which it is a 1 because it didn't have a subscript. Okay, so if it does not match, what we're going to do is take the subscript of oxygen, which is a 1 because it didn't have one, and multiply. Okay, remember, we don't worry about the sign. So 1 times 2 equals 2. Okay, so that means that my answer is going to be 10-2 oxide. Okay, the reason why I picked it is because they did not match, so I multiply the subscript and the oxidation number. Okay, if they did match, which this is just another example, say we had SN2O like that. Okay, well, we look at the oxidation number of oxygen, it's 2. Well, if they did match, that